What is going on, everybody? Today is July 24th. It is 10:10 a.m. I thought I'd do a little two-day market recap for you guys real quick. Uh, as I said over the weekend, preparing for the week ahead, I was going to take my foot off the gas. I wasn't liking the market conditions, and this is the prime time really for earnings season. And another slow day as we see right here. And first, I'm going to go over Monday, but right now, the only thing right now I was looking at on Tuesday is SCON. This is a reverse stock split, a 1 for 10. And what did I say in one of my other videos? We've been seeing a lot of reverse splits that have been running that are low floats. And here is another one. Last week we had MDGS. This week we have SCON. And look at that. Opens up at 950, drops down to 825, does a U shape, and it's so far it's got halted twice.
NFEC.
So far it's got halted twice. Right here at 987, and this thing ran all the way up to 1140 almost, gets halted again, gaps up more, and hits a high of $13 right here. That's crazy. Look at that. So you gotta recognize these trends that pop up. Like I said, you'll start to notice stuff the more
NFEC.
time you spend in the market. Another one is NFEC. This is more of like a pump, and as you can see right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row, this has been just grinding up from 275, and it's hitting almost 475 right now, and this is just slowly getting momentum. I would be careful on this because this has been gaining every day, getting buying volume, and you wouldn't want to buy in at the top for everybody to just dump their shares on you. If we take a look back at MTSL, this is what could happen. If we go back right here to this one, as you see, it just slowly grinded all day, and then everybody dumped it right at the end. This would be the same example for NFEC. It's grinding up day after day after day after day. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days. And you wouldn't want to buy in at the top right here to have it look like the last chart MTSL I just showed you. So going back to Monday. Monday was a very, very, very slow day. I didn't like anything on the table. There was nothing up pre-market. There was really no press releases that I liked. The only thing we had was DDE. My personal opinion, I like to play low float plays. The float was a little bit high on this one, and it went up a lot pre-market from $2 up to $3.25 pre-market. And when this opened up, as you can see, it didn't really move much, and it doesn't have that explosiveness because it's not a low float. Yeah, it did have a 75-cent range from here to here, and this does have a good pattern as it made higher lows, as you can see right here, something like that, coming right up to the resistance right here. And as soon as it breaks that resistance here at 325, that would have been a nice scalp right there up to 350 for a 25-cent gain. This did come up to the resistance and pulled back. This is somewhat of like a cup and handle right here and a breakout up. So we had that one, and then we had CETX. CETX was a very, very fast one. It did have news yesterday. It's a low float. Look at the move on this. You wouldn't want to get caught in a move up like this, as it went from $2 up to $2.50 and just couldn't really break out and get momentum, and then it just drops down. And it tried to do a little U-shape, but volume just didn't come in. And that's the thing we've been having a problem with right now. We don't have any buying volume because, in my opinion, a lot of the big companies that have earnings this week, they're taking a lot of volume away from the market right now. Another example is LBIX. Now, if you would have got caught in this one, this right as the bell opened, this was hitting scanners. And as you can see right here, this is really, really crappy. Now, right when the bell opened, it opened here at $1.84. And if you pull up the long-term chart here, let me bring it over for you guys. This is LBIX. So a long-term chart, we have a resistance right here at $2. And you go back and you can see, but when it does break $2, it pops up real fast and it doesn't hold its gains. And you see these long wicks right here. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a bunch of long wicks right here, and right here. You gotta put it in a perspective as a short's perspective. So if I'm a short and this is approaching $2, I'm gonna be waiting right here at the break of $2. If this thing breaks over $2, I'm shorting it because more than likely, from past chart history here, history shows that it does not hold its gains for nothing, and it's gonna come right back down. And that's what happened right here. Right at the bell, hits scanners and starts popping up, breaks over 2, hits 206 and drops really, really fast from 206 all the way down to $1.48, all within minutes right here. And that's a 50-cent loss right there. So if you buy in 1,000 shares anticipating the break of $2, and it drops 50 cents on you like that, that's a $500 loss. That's why it's very important to look at past chart history when you're looking and doing technical analysis on these stocks. And then another one. So this was what happened on Monday. Those were the only two plays that I was keeping an eye on. DDE and CETX. And I just didn't like the market conditions, so I didn't do anything. Now today, Tuesday, July 24th, is the same story. I'm waiting. And I'm waiting for buying to show back up. Waiting for a stock to have a really, really huge spike to go supernova, parabolic, or that really good news release that just spikes the stock really huge to bring back buying volume. And this is what it's all about, waiting for market conditions. If you keep trying to force plays in market conditions like this, you are slowly going to drain your trading account. And right here we have BLIN. Now this one has news this morning. All it really is about the news on this is they came out with a new website. You could see it popped up here pre-market to $2 and fell right back down. And yeah, it opened here and just grinded its way up. But once again, just like NFEC, you also have to look. You also have to put what are other traders looking at as well. So when I'm looking at this chart, what do I see? This is the daily chart of the past year here on BLIN. What do I see? I see a lot of long wicks right here, right here, right here, and a couple right here. So I know right off the bat that when this stock spikes up, it doesn't hold its gains for nothing. And another thing is it's approaching this red line right here. This red line is the 200-day moving average. And a lot of traders are going to see it's coming up to that. And what that's going to do is that's going to act as a wall, and it's not going to break through that wall. And look what happened right here. It came up just to it and then it fell right back down. So if you come into this and as it's approaching $2 and want to buy on it without looking at the chart history, you're just setting yourself up for failure. And then this is the intraday chart, and look what it did. It grind all the way up, touched $2, and now it's falling right back down. And if you would have just looked at chart history, you would have clearly seen that. And like I said, you always have to try to put it in a perspective of what are other traders looking at. What's the big picture? Start looking at the big picture on the daily and work your way into the intraday. And the daily will clearly show you resistance lines, support lines, and that's what traders like to trade off of. It's really easy to see that, and it's just about having patience and waiting for the right setup. If a stock is breaking through that resistance, okay, don't jump in on it immediately. Wait for it to pull back. See if that resistance now holds as support. If it starts holding as support, let it start to build higher lows, and then wait for the next breakout. Don't compulsively buy. But today, Tuesday, we've seen a lot of potential this morning. There was a lot of low floats that were gapped up in the morning, but when the market opened, nothing just really seemed to take off. Going back to the SPY right here, look at this. It's looking very good right now. Then this is the daily. And as you can see, Monday, we opened up below that resistance line, this long one right here. As we were talking about on Sunday, weekly recap and preparing for this upcoming week, I said it's going to be interesting what this does Monday. Is it going to pull back below this line, or is it going to continue to move up past this resistance line? And yesterday it came up and it moved right up to this line and closed. And today it gapped up above this line and the previous day's highs. And now it's starting to move its way back up. And maybe it's going to test this high right up here. We'll see. But what I want to see is explosiveness when it breaks this resistance line right here. And I'm not seeing that right now. But it's still early in the day on Tuesday. Anything can happen. We're only an hour into the market. It's only 10:30. And so far, right now, with this gap up, it's looking good. So we have a nice pre-market gap up. Market opens and slowly moving up. So it's looking good. We also seen a lot of Bitcoin plays up today in sympathy of Bitcoin. MARA was up good pre-market. Now it's just hanging around and falling off. It's another one. DPW is another Bitcoin related, but that's just ugly looking. And what's another one we had? I think RCON. No. Mara. All of these are just Bitcoin related stocks following in sympathy of Bitcoin. So as you can see here, we have all this action pre-market. That's why it's important to be here every day to familiarize yourself with all these stocks and put all the pieces together. Over time, you'll start putting these sectors together and saying, okay, Bitcoin is starting to take off. So all these sympathy plays are going to follow behind that. And that's when you start gathering all those up. And then you start to see on the scanners all these Bitcoin related, blockchain related stocks start to follow with the Bitcoin. And then we also had shippers popping up this morning. TOPS was a good one, but DRYS a little bit, and then DCIX is another shipper one right here. But it's hard playing these shipper plays because pretty much anybody you will talk to has a bad story about shippers. They were hot at one point, but I don't think they're really hot anymore. But you can't write it off because they can still make a big move. DCIX, I believe, just had a huge move last summer. So, or last fall. So you can't count these off because every trader knows about these. And then we had, like I said in the beginning of the video, SCON. This is the one I was keeping an eye on. I wasn't planning on trading it. I'm just simply waiting for market conditions to improve. But this is what we wanted to see here. I wanted this to go supernova parabolic to try and bring back the buying. And right now it's starting to fall off. But anything can happen. Like I said, we're only an hour into the market. When a stock starts to fall off like this, just don't write it off instantly. Anything can happen in the stock market. Let me bring a picture up for you that I took just to show you that anything is possible. So this is ISR. This is why you don't underestimate charts or stocks. This had a really good morning spike. And what did this do? This slowly started to die off as the day went on, giving back all of its gains. And then it started making a higher low here. Had a nice little bounce, and then it just got momentum, and it ran from 65 cents all the way up to $1.22. This is why you never write off stocks immediately if they just start to fall off. This is stuff you want to always keep an eye on for the rest of the day. It's not like something, like I said, you just want to have a handful of stocks to keep an eye on as the day goes on. And if you overwhelm yourself with a huge watch list of 10 or 20 stocks, there's no way you could really keep an eye on all those. So like I like to do at the first hour of the day, I like to just gather up 3 or 4 or 5 stocks that interest me the most, add it to my watch list, redefine my watch list from the watch list I started with in the morning, and watch those the rest of the day, because anything could happen. Anything could happen lunch hours, anything could happen power hour. That's what I love about the stock market. Anything can happen. And then going back to NFEC, it's still holding right now, but it just doesn't have volume. It doesn't. And it's been up. This is the daily chart right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days in a row. And look at the volume right here at the volume. It's not really, you don't see it gradually rising as this is gradually rising up. That's a big red flag right there, because what I want to see is this slowly have a decline up like that. And that's not what this is doing. If you can barely see this right there, I'll get my little yellow cursor out of the way. But you see that? That's not good. And this can dump at any moment. Let's see the volume each day. Right now, today, it's only have 156,000, 57,000 in volume, 58,000. If I can count. Yesterday, it only had 200,000 in volume. This day, it had 421,000 in volume. 271,000, 168,000, 270,000 in volume. So this is just slowly grinding up
NFEC,
a little bit more buying. But when you get in, everybody can dump it. And as you can see right here, it's coming up to this $5 resistance here. And when it comes up to this $5, watch. Everybody's just going to start selling it and dumping it. So that's just a little 2-day market recap for you guys. I wanted to show you what's going on. I'm being patient, sitting on my hands, and this was another cryptocurrency related play that had a nice good market, pre-market up, and now is just selling off. I'm just being patient, sitting on my hands and waiting for market conditions. Just because market conditions are bad just doesn't mean I walk away from the market. I'm always observing, looking at patterns that are setting up, and seeing what's going on. Seeing if there's a consistent pattern forming, like a good bounce pattern that's happening on every other play. There's always patterns setting themselves up, and you got to familiarize yourself with that. So, thought I'd give you guys a little market recap. Like I said, study up, sit on your hands, be patient, guys. Market conditions will be back. Tomorrow is a new day. Next week is a new week. Study up, like I said, and just wait. All right, guys. Later.